So again, just a quick recap. We have seen the REST API, which is one of the very, very important concept. Each application now these days is going to be communicate with each other with the help of REST API. It is a part of web services. Web services of two types, SOAP and REST. SOAP is a legacy. Now this day people are not using. It is completely XML based. REST API is popular and hot. Every Spring Boot application is mainly used for developing a RESTful API. RESTful API is having the four methods: post, put, delete, and get, and these all methods is having their own way to use. Post is for creation, put is for update, delete for deleting, and get for getting the data. So far we have seen the different methods demonstration. Now the next topic I would like to discuss is communication between one REST application to other REST application. That's again a brilliant concept, guys, because in the world of microservices, I'm keep on telling you, there is a small services, right? Product service, payment service, card service, category service, supplier service. So all these applications are going to integrate with each other and calling to each other. Product service is calling the categories table is calling the supplier table is calling the user service. So all these things are talking to each other. So now we will see how we can call one Spring Boot application into other Spring Boot application. Interesting. Let's move. Whenever you are calling one application into other application, Spring Boot has provided you one special library called REST template. Calling one application to other application is a very tedious task, guys. You need to write lots of code, but Spring Boot people has again made you very simple. Once again, guys. Okay, guys, so REST template is the one that you need to see how I'm using this. That's all. This is having nothing. Okay. Give me a moment, guys, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all. Let's see how I'm proceeding with the REST template. Do I need to add any additional library for this? Answer is again no. This guy is smart enough to handle the REST template also. So just a starter wave, which you have added in your Hello World application, let it be the same. Do I need to change any configuration for REST template? Answer is no. That's all. Whatever you have having the initially, let it be the same. You don't need to put anything extra here. Only thing we are going to see how our application is communicating with other Spring Boot microservices. So this is one of the microservices we are going to develop now. And one of the microservices which you have seen just now for a product service controller, I will be calling this product service controller endpoints from another microservices. So microservices one will be communicating with other microservices two, and see how. In the previous one, you have seen the demo application, product.java and product service controller. Same thing is here also. Product demo application. Only thing I have added REST template bean creation. By default, REST template bean is not going to be created by our Spring Boot. The reason is REST template object creation is quite costly operation, and that is the reason Spring Boot is not by default creating this bean. It is asking the users, you need to create a REST template bean. Look at this. So if you are coming from a IOC, we have learned with the help of at the rate of bean annotation, we can, people are with me getting?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Super. So REST template bean, we have created something like this. That's all. Now, product.java is similar like whatever you have here. So now this one is a consumer of the previous application. So I have a product.java as it is. Look at the product service.controller. Product service.controller not having the data here. He is fully dependent on the REST service provider, which is the first application. First and most important things, I have auto-wide my REST template, because with the help of REST template only, we will be able to call the other application. So this guy is having their own URL. Yes, it might be. It's not like that. Each one is having the same endpoints. You will be hitting the slash template slash products. The moment request will come to this method, he will first create the HTTP headers object. It will set the what kind of data you are expecting. So I want a JSON data. So under this header, there is a way by which you can set the media type as a application JSON. Similarly, there is a XML, there is a other format of data. But right now I want JSON data. So under header, I have set the media type equal to application JSON. So it will ask the other application, hey, user wants the data in JSON format, so please give the JSON format data. That's all. After that, under the REST template, pass the URL or endpoints of your service provider. So just now we have seen, right? For getting the
Yes.
all products, this is the endpoints. And this is the endpoints you have to share with the caller. Whoever want to use your application, you have to tell them this is my endpoint. Go and hit this endpoints. You will get the all products. So this endpoints, this guy have also taken. And after that, nothing. Method is get. Entity is nothing but your response entity, HTTP entity, and you want data in which format. So currently I want this data in a string format. That is the reason I have passed string dot things, and I'm also sending the data in string format. So the moment I will run this application, request will come here. This method will make a call to the other application which is running on 8090. This application might be running on 9090. So let me run this product demo application here and see the same data we are getting or not. Remember, you should not give the same port for both the application. Then there is a problem. You cannot see that. And
Right.
before running this REST template application, you have to start the previous one, REST web full web services. The reason is this application is dependent on this. If you kill this application, then this application will not get data. So that's the reason microservices is saying check the status. All applications are up or not. If one of the application is down, one of your microservices is down, then other microservices will be not able to get the data from that. That is the reason highly availability is important. This RESTful web services is provider, so you have to run first this application, which is running on different port 8090, and now I'm calling on running the service consumer, which is on 9090. What is the endpoints? Template products. Let's hit this one. Go here, change the port number 9090, and then after slash template product. It's a get call, so click on send. Look at this, both the data is coming to you or not. It's coming, ID and honey. Whether this data is a part of my this current application? No, this guy is dependent on other application and their endpoints we have given with the help of REST template exchange method. So this exchange method is doing the magic for you.
Right.
Understood, guys? Any
Yeah.
confusion?
Uh,
What
No,
about you, Sana?
it's clear.
Superb. Was we getting not 100%, but idea you are getting how I am making a call from one application to other application?
Sir, can you repeat it again? Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, I will repeat for you. Don't worry. So, in the world of microservices, we used to create a small Spring Boot application, and they all are working independently. But these are all a part of a single application. So they all have to communicate with each other. So for example, this Spring Boot RESTful web services is going to be called from the Spring Boot REST template. This is a separate application. This is a separate application. This might be running in the New York City in one of the server. And this might be running in India, Mumbai, any of the server. Now, this guy is saying, this is my host port. Please put inside your application. Whenever you will hit me, I will give you the data. So whoever is a service provider, they are going to give you this kinds of data to you. Based upon this, you are going to get the data from that. We are not responsible. For example, let's say you want to get a weather condition. So if you go to the website, there is a many API available for weather open API. So this is one of the people looks like they have created a weather API. Now this weather API will give you an endpoints. Okay, if you go down and if you see API doc, then it will give you the something like this. This is their endpoints. They are telling you for making me, this is my URL, copy this inside your application. I will give you the today data. What is all this? Okay. Similarly, we have something called request response API. This guy is over the internet. They are saying fake data. So they are saying if you hit this URL, automatically you will get this data. So now I'm gonna show you how you can hit the public API also. So if you look at this public URI, this application is not our application even. It is running in somewhere else. I don't know where it is running. This particular API is not our. It's on internet. This guy has just given fake API to test your REST application whether it's working fine or not. So here, look at this. They are saying forget method. These are the URL you have to hit. So I will be copying this part and I will be putting into that. And this is the response I'm expecting. So how we can do that? I written one method called get API call. So whenever I get API call, whatever this guy has given the endpoints here, I copied this endpoint and put it here. Look at this slash API. Host you have to give because host is important. Now, inside the web services or inside the web application, there is two kinds of call. One is HTTP, another one is HTTPS. So Whatever application now this day, if you have noticed, either they are having HTTP or HTTPS. So for example, this one, if you copy it and paste it here, it's HTTPS. Whichever is a HTTP, you don't need to do any additional configuration, but for HTTPS, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Security, so it is mainly used for avoiding the unwanted call. HTTPS is a separate topic, you guys should understand. So what this guy has did, this guy is saying, oh, even though it's a fake data, but it is a HTTPS. If I paste it here, it is a HTTPS. So REST template is saying, if it is a HTTP call, you don't need to do anything. This line is highly sufficient to make a call. How we have did here, because our one is not HTTPS, it's a HTTP. Just call exchange method, pass this URL, and tell me in which format you want the data. But when it is a HTTPS, you have to create one additional object called request factory. Don't ask me how to explain this because I just copied it from the internet. When I tried running directly with this, they are saying exception. When I got exception, I research this, then I come to know I need to do a special configuration for HTTPS. And again, REST template object pass their request factory. After that, just like exchange method, under REST template, you have a get for object also. This guy will return you the whole data. So I'm going to my REST API and I will hit the public URI. Go to Postman. Instead of product, now I'm hitting public URI, and public URI is going to give me the whole data from this online API, whatever this data is there. Look at this, page 2, page per 6, per page 6, total 12. See your data, same is coming or not. So what does it meaning is? The meaning is pretty simple. You can hit any REST API from your Spring Boot application. It is your or third party, doesn't matter. We can hit any REST API application. Understanding or not, guys? REST
Yes,
all,
sir.
post, put, get, all, delete are same. You just need to pass whichever is your service provider, put their URL and start playing around. So this is how one microservices is communicating with other microservices. Nikhil,
Yes, sir.
how much percentage you got for this class, today class?
I think I'd say about 70.
Very good number. It's really, really good. 30% definitely come once you practice and if you study a bit by yourself.
Yeah.
But
Have to watch,
20,
watch the video again.
yes, you should. You should. So this REST API, I don't want the people to ignore. Please practice. If you practice it, this application is available in the GitHub. You please copy it and work on that. Sana, you too practice this application to have a better confidence. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So REST template is that's all. I don't have anything else. That's the only demonstration of exchange method. Now going forward, you will be seeing the different service with database also. Fine. Let's move ahead and try understanding the database. Same thing with database. Nothing much, guys. Don't worry. So as I told you, in my system, I have installed H2 database. Just click on H2 console. Your H2 database is up. And now let me start demonstration. In fact, one very important things I would like to tell you. In-memory database, I told you about H2, and still now your application is running. This database will be available, and Spring Boot is having the embedded support of H2 database. What is the meaning of this? Means you don't need to install H2 also. Spring will automatically bring like a Tomcat. Did I install Tomcat for my Spring Boot application? No, it's a part of our library. It's embedded with Spring Boot. Similarly, H2 database is also embedded with Spring Boot. If you ask Spring Boot, please bring the H2 database, it will bring you. I will show you right away. So we will be seeing Spring Boot with JDBC first, and then after we will be moving ahead. So in the Spring Boot, we have a CRUD repository, JPA repository, Mongo repository. JPA repository for Hibernate, CRUD repository is for JDBC, and Mongo repository is for Mongo database, no SQL database. So here I have given some sort of note. Application runner is what doing, CRUD repository is what doing. CRUD is nothing but you know now, right? CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. So this is how we will be demonstrating it. So I will come on this later. But first and most important things, since you are using database, so along with web now, you have to add one more dependency called starter hyphen data hyphen JPA. How we can do that? The moment you are creating a Spring Boot application, here in the beginning we have started, right? A start.spring.io. So initially we have just added what? Spring Web. Now you have to add JPA. Then after you have to add one more called H2 database, because I told you Spring is having the support for H2 database. So these three dependency I have added into my current application, where we have Spring Web, JPA, and database. Because every operation, whatever I was doing with hash map, same I will do with my database table. Okay, let's see. So JPA is there, H2 database is there, and of course web is always there. Come to our code. Inside my code, Spring Boot application, probably this will confuse you, so let me remove this part. It's like a plain Spring Boot application, whatever you have seen initially. Then after we have a controller. I shown you the controller also, but looks like here I am using the MVC kinds of things. Okay, no worries. Hold on. Public URI. Okay, ignore that. Let me bring the same application which I have created here. com.nic from scratch we will do, so it will be more useful. Artifact spring hyphen crud. Okay, com.nic demo project for Spring Boot crud. Let it be everything default. Change the Java version. Java version is important. 8. Click on generate. I got this. Unzip it. Spring crud. Import this project into your Eclipse. By the way, I have a Spring Boot CRUD somewhere, but it's not, I'm not able to find out. And yeah, it's here, CRUD repository example. Anyway, so file, import, existing Maven project, paste the new path, click on finish. The Spring Boot application will be imported. Okay, now go to Spring CRUD. Here it is. Under pom.xml file, let me verify it. We have a JPA, we have a BEV, we have a H2 database. Nothing extra. First and most important things I told you, whenever you are going to work on any application, make sure things are working fine and that you can test. Just a matter of creating one REST controller. So new class employee controller. Let's say I'm going to create a employee controller. Employee controller. Okay, click on finish. On the top of each REST controller, you know that we have to put at the rate of REST controller. Then after, just hello world. First and important things you have to print is public string get hello, and this method should return you some hello message. Hello crud semicolon. Method name recommendation is use first character as a small letter. On the top of that, just a get mapping. Whatever URL you want to put, you can put under hello. That's all. If you want to change your port number, then change it. If you don't want to change it, let it be. Let me run this Spring CRUD application, Java application. I used to do Maven clean and install, but I'm not doing because I know the same version is there, not necessarily we need. So we got 8080, which is a default port, and that's where my application is running. So localhost 8080, hello. Hello CRUD. It means what? The newly brand new application is working fine. So this is my first job to make sure that hello is printing. Once that is printing, I can start proceeding with the further details. Okay. Under my employee controller, I want to create a CRUD operation for employee. Means insert, update, delete, and read. So I'm going to create one class here called employee. Also, it's good practice to put the model class inside the separate package. That's the model package. Whatever properties or whatever column you need, you just put here private int id, then private string name, and private int age. So these are the three property I want. Generate the getters and setters method. Right click, source, generate getters and setters. See, this is how in the real time, and you guys also have to practice step by step. I would recommend you, please watch this video again and again from scratch how I have created this project. Okay, so employee is there. As per the JPA specification, you have to put all required annotation on the top of this Pojo class. So I am going to use first of all at the rate of entity. You know that in a hyphenate, you must have to put at the rate of entity. After this, whichever is a primary key, on the top of that, you have to put ID. If you want to change your table name, you can put at the rate of table, and under that, whatever name you want, you can give. I want to give this table name as a EMP 100. This one to my table. It's not mandatory, but if you want to put your table name other than your class name, you can put the table name. Also, I want this column supposed to be auto generated. So let me copy it from the existing one at the rate of generated value. That's all I have to put inside my CRUD repository employee class. Means what? I want primary key value supposed to be given by Hibernate or JPA. So employee is done. It's time to design our employee controller. Inside my employee controller class, first and most important things, I will be writing one method, public response entity. You know this, okay? Let me quickly copy it from here so that it will be not so much time consuming. Okay, get all employee. So I'm going to create one more employee. Okay, I will be sending the list of employee from my service class. But for a time being, it should go from the database and being okay. So in the real time, you have to go from UI to controller, controller to service, service to DAO. So I have a controller. Let me create one more class. That class is nothing but employee service. So in real-time project, each class of service should have one interface, because in core Java, there is something called factory design pattern. And the recommendation is you guys should use this factory design pattern for this application. But I think I will be not able to complete it right now, and I have some work to do. So till now, you guys please practice it, and I will be continuing this development in the next class. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much. You guys can continue practicing, start reading. Tomorrow class again, we will be continuing it from this step, creating a service layer, DAO layer, and then connecting to database. After that, you
Okay.
guys will practice and bring this project as a real time. I will give you the requirement how I want. If you know Angular, in Angular, I will ask you to design, and in backend, I will ask you to write a endpoints for this. Thank you, guys. I will send you this whole recordings along with this code. Thank you. Bye.